Hey guys, Booligan here with Booligan Shooting Sports. One of the last videos I put up on my channel was a teaser for this. This is a GSG 522. It is a 22 caliber MP5 styled rimfire rifle. In my case, a short barreled rifle. I went through the process of obtaining the tax stamp for this and have assembled my HK slapping gun of my dreams. Let's go over what I did to this, who helped me out with this, and what the process was like for obtaining the tax stamp to build this rifle. From the previous video, you may recall I added an airsoft grade stock instead of the fixed stock that was on there, and this guy has actually held up quite well. It fits myself very well, collapses, it's a little stiff, but that's going to break in with time. Up front, you will see, I hate when it does this, problem with a with the bolt carrier on this guy. Not a problem, it's just how it works. These have a last round bolt hold open, so when you rack it on an empty mag, the bolt locks back. Up front, this wasn't on there before, but up front we have a GMP handguard that has a built-in flashlight. I did some heat insulation on the inside with some heat insulating tape in order to prevent the barrel getting hot and cooking any of the electronics inside that handguard, even though it's a very simple pressure switch system, but still, just for the sake of an insurance policy, if you will, I went ahead and I did that. This fits very well, and notice up front, we don't have much barrel. So when I filed the eFile Form 1 in order to create a registered short-barreled rifle, I then had to do a couple of other steps before actually chopping it down. First off, I had to submit fingerprint cards. During COVID times, that's a little bit tricky. Luckily, you have a couple of options there. For me, I live in Utah, and BCI, the Bureau of Criminal Investigations, was just reopening their fingerprinting program. I was able to make an appointment, get done the next day. But yeah, when you're doing an eFile Form 1, or really any Form 1, you have to submit 2 fingerprint cards. If you cannot do that through an official entity, you can roll your own. You can actually request the cards directly through the ATF. They will send them to you free of charge, and you can buy a stamp kit on Amazon for a couple of dollars and just roll your own stamps. Apparently, the requirements are not that stringent as far as what constitutes a quality fingerprint. So practice, start practicing on just normal paper, see how it goes, and you'll be good to go from there. But you also, when you're doing an eFile, you have to submit an electronic copy of your photo. If you're doing an individual or a trust, there's going to be certain different paperwork requirements. I did mine as an individual, so it was very, very simple. 27 days later, I get a PDF. I get an email saying your stamp has been approved. There you go. So just a little over 3 weeks. If you have the option of building your own SBR on an eFile Form 1 versus purchasing a pre-built SBR on a Form 4, which cannot be eFile right now. They're not allowing eFile Form 4s. I highly, highly recommend going the eFile route, because if you're on a Form 4, you can plan on waiting the better part of a year. If you're doing it on a Form 1 with eFile, about 3 weeks. And I am not the exception to the rule there. I have seen people shorter than me. I've also seen some people longer than me, but in general, it is a pretty quick process. Once I was able to get my stamp cleared, I had to have my information engraved on the lower there. As the builder of this firearm, it requires my name and the city in which it was built. So in my case, the city in which I lived when I assembled this. So those are engraved there as required by the ATF, and I had that done through a local company. Once I had all that put together, I had my stamp cleared, I immediately had the barrel taken out of this thing and ran it down to my very good friends over at barrelthreading.com. They're a local company to me, and they do astounding work. Some of the hiccups that they ran into on this GSG, the barrel is kind of a crappy soft metal. no surprise there, this is not a super high quality company. It's German engineering, but unfortunately the short stick of German engineering. And he was able to cut the threads in it to fit this adapter, but it was just a very soft metal. The threads are not very pretty, but you can't see them because they're hidden by this adapter. What I did as far as the adapter goes, this is I think a Sig Mosquito, or maybe a GSG 9mm, 1911 variant or something. But it's an adapter to go from smaller threads, because this has a thinner metal inner barrel, to 1/2 x 28 threads up front. Tested it for concentricity, and it is pretty well manufactured for like a $9 adapter on eBay. But I could take the thread protector off and install a suppressor if I wish, that just barely clears this front light by like a millimeter, maybe 1/2 millimeter. It's very, very tight on there. But yeah, so I had been very leery of doing a Form 1. I wasn't sure if it was going to take a super long time. I wasn't sure if I was going to get a lot of grief over fingerprints. I wasn't sure if the photo was going to be good enough. And I stressed and I stressed and I stressed. And it was really one of the simplest things I've done in firearms. If you are considering building a short barrel rifle, a short barrel shotgun, or an AOW, I believe you could do all of those on a Form 1, do it. Don't wait. Just right now, the wait times are probably the lowest they're going to be in the foreseeable future. Even during COVID, even during this time where everything else was thrown in disarray, those times shortened up. And like I said, it's around the 3-week mark right now. And now, for a total investment of about probably call it about a little over $500, I have a short-barreled MP5 lookalike. Yes, it shoots 22 caliber, and that means I can afford to shoot it, which is something I cannot say for the current environment with 9mm. Upgrade parts for these are easy to come by. I want to get a different stock. It uses airsoft compatible stocks. And I know that a lot of guys in the real firearm industry are kind of poo-pooing that a little bit, saying, well, it's just an airsoft toy. I know, I've heard it when I posted this on Reddit. But to be honest, a lot of those airsoft quality parts are actually made to a pretty good spec, a pretty good standard, because airsoft players sometimes beat up their equipment pretty well. So if you buy the right quality parts to begin with, it's not going to be that bad of a thing. And look at this thing. Look how good this looks. I could sit here and I could slap that all day until eventually it breaks on me and I have to get a new knob. Fine, it happens. But yeah, this is a very, very achievable build, and it's sort of a holy grail gun for me, even if it is in a 22 caliber replica technically. I love it. So we're going to be doing some range video with this once the ranges open up a little bit more, and once I'm able to actually get down and do some proper test shooting with it. But in the meantime, I love it. Such a fantastic gun. Many thanks to our friends over at Barrel Threading, who again do just really top quality work. If you need a barrel threaded, whether it is for a Form 1 SBR project or just having it threaded and keeping above that 16-inch mark, talk to them. If you need a shotgun threaded for chokes, they can take care of that too. Their prices are good, their turnaround is fast, and just awesome, awesome guys to work with. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel for more videos when I take this to the range. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.